Welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be doing a Lindsay Nicole video. We're going to look at the coolest fossil site. I like her videos a lot. I think they're a lot of fun. I like learning about things from her. Yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy it too. So this one is again a member video, a member suggested video. So I will try to do it then. But yeah, we're going to look at the coolest fossil site featuring the Hell Creek Hooligans. Don't know who they are, but let's go. They go on a field trip. We're going to go dig up fossils with Lindsay Nicole. That's really cool. I think fossils are really cool.
If you're a viewer of this channel, that probably means you enjoy fossils and prehistoric life, which automatically means you like fossil beds and places where fossils are found.
Well, I've always wanted to find a fossil.
There's some in particular that are extremely badass.
Never found a fossil.
The Hell Creek.
I've never found a fossil. I found a jawbone. I have him, but I've never found a fossil.
Formation. Very sick name. And also has yielded some of the most famous fossils in the world. So today I'm going to introduce you to it, talk about some of the coolest fossils found there, and also give you a sneak peek of what it's like to dig for fossils at one of the coolest formations on the planet.
Cool. I used to I used to pretend to be an archaeologist. I wanted to be an archaeologist for a little while, and then I learned that it was hard. And I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. But like, I did want to be an archaeologist. I wanted to, or a paleontologist, but then I found out that involved knowing a lot of science, and I really didn't want to do that. And I was like, but like, I did used to practice. I had those little like baby archaeology kits that you could get. And it's like, you know, they have like the dinosaur skull in there and you have to be very careful about digging it out. I loved that shit. I used to dig in the ground and hope, like in my yard, and hope I'd find fossils. I never found anything. I just got my mom mad at me. And I was like, but I wanted to find a lost empire. Oh, I wanted to be an adventurer. Honestly, it's because I watched a lot of adventure movies as a kid, I think. I just wanted to be freaking Indiana Jones. Or like, and Magic School Bus got me interested in being a paleontologist. Oh, I wanted to do it so bad.
Get the general information out of the way. The Hell Creek Formation is a formation,
let's add that to the words of wisdom,
which is a widespread rock layer that has particular sediments and fossils. Hell Creek is made up of sandstones and mudstones with fossils from the latest Cretaceous period, about 68 to 66 million years ago. So yes, right at the boundary of the asteroid apocalypse. Like I said, it's one of the most famous rock layers in the world, right in the upper Great Plains of the United States. And it's home to many of your favorite dinosaurs.
Oh, hey, wait, which is that?
Famous rock layers in the world, right in the upper...
No, it's still too far away from me! Man, I mean, because like I've been to South Dakota. We went to the Badlands, and I know a couple of people who, because you can go around in the Badlands, and like go down into the caverns and stuff. And so like I knew some people who, I think I knew a couple people who found a fossil or two while we were there, but I did not.
Upper Great Plains of the United States. And it's home to many of your favorite dinosaurs: Triceratops, Ankylosaurs, Pachycephalosaurs.
Oh, Ankylosaurs? That's how you say
your favorite dinosaurs: Triceratops, Ankylosaurs.
Ankylosaur? I always called it an Ankylosaurus. I think I called it an Ankylosaurus because it looks a little bit like it says Ankylosaurus, but also I just imagined the little tail at the end being kind of like a skippet, and it just whacks you in the ankle.
Pachycephalosaurs, and Tyrannosaurus. The name Hell Creek Formation comes from the Hell Creek Valley in Montana. Back in the early 1900s, dinosaur fossils found in the valley got the attention of a fossil hunter named Barnum Brown. Very fossil hunter name, if you ask me. If there's a stereotype for a fossil hunter, their name is going to be some shit like Barnum Brown. He visited Hell Creek Valley and found fossils of Triceratops, plants, snails, and more, all from the Cretaceous period. He also found the partial skeleton of a massive predatory dinosaur that would eventually be named Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That's awesome.
Barnum Brown is the discoverer of T-Rex. Who else other than Barnum Brown? When he wrote about his finds, Brown describes these rock layers as the Hell Creek Beds. In 1952, geologists officially named it the Hell Creek Formation. Now we know the formation is big as fuck. It covers massive sections of Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. And as paleontologists and fossil hunters have spent more and more time digging there, it's become known as the home of lush Cretaceous plants, like conifers, cycads, and ferns. And lots of animals like turtles, insects, small mammals, and, of course, the dinosaurs. A variety of shapes and sizes and lifestyles, meat eaters, plant eaters, fucking everything under the sun. This formation is one of the best places in the world for studying dinosaurs. Not just individual species, but entire ecosystems. So,
I never got over my dinosaur phase, really.
The story is in the bones and the rocks. Back in the Cretaceous, this area was a series of woodlands, swamps, and rivers stretching from the Rocky Mountains in the west which were just baby mountains of the time, to the shores of the western interior seaway in the east. Sandstones were deposited beneath the riverbeds and coastlines, mudstones on the river floodplains, coal beds in the swamps. Lots of cool shit to find. Lots of species discovered here. And then, in the 1980s, scientists discovered the asteroid impact that ended the age of the dinosaurs.
Which is
and
so cool
paleontologists
that we know
became
where it
even more
happened.
interested in Hell Creek. It's one of the big locations in the world where you can see the iridium layer left from remnants of the asteroid. And so, with
so
that
good to
being a
know.
big topic of research, even more cool fossils have been found. I'm going to introduce you to some of them. First up, the king, or in this case, the queen, or gender-neutral Mesozoic monarch. Sue the T-Rex, easily one of the most famous fossils ever found. If you've ever seen a picture of a T-Rex skeleton, you have 99.999999999% chance seeing Sue. It was probably a picture of Sue. It's named Sue because it was first noticed by a woman named Sue Hendrickson and was discovered in 1990, but its proper name is FMNHPR2081.
That is dumb.
Sue for short. It started out with a few bones sticking out of the ground, exposed on a ranch in the Cheyenne River Sioux Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Immediately,
Sue
a
by
very cool
Sue.
find. But after more than 2 weeks of 6 people digging the whole thing out, it became clear they hit the fucking jackpot.
Yeah,
the skeleton
for sure.
was more than 90% complete and more than 40 feet long. And to this day is one of the largest and most complete specimens of Tyrannosaurus. Even though a shit ton of T-Rex fossils have been found in this formation, Sue is very special, very large, very complete, and so extremely valuable. As you would expect from anything extremely valuable, with no explicitly defined owner. After the discovery, Sue became the center of a massive legal battle. The rancher who owned the property argued
What does that
defined
say?
owner. After the discovery, Sue became the
Sue, yeah, we'll do that. Am I right? Okay, I'll stick to editing. I like the editing. I like the little... I do that sometimes.
center of a massive legal battle. The rancher who owned the property argued the skeleton was rightfully his, while the scientific institution leading the excavation claimed that they had gotten permission to keep it. On top of that, the Cheyenne River Sioux leaders also disputed the ownership of the fossil since it was found on their land. Sue was seized by the government and held while the whole thing got sorted out in court. Eventually, the rancher won the custody battle and sold the fossil at public auction. And finally, after 7 years since discovery, Sue was purchased by the Field Museum in Chicago for $8 million.
Is it still here?
$8 million.
Is it
They got
still
some
here?
help from corporations
I want to
like
see.
Disney.
I need to know if Sue the Fossil is still in Chicago, because maybe I should go to the Field Museum. Is Sue the T-Rex in the field? That's not how you spell museum. I don't know how to spell it. Okay, so she's still in the yeah, she's still here. Okay, I'm gonna have to go. I've lived in Chicago for almost 9 years at this point, and I've never been to the Field Museum because it's such a pain in the ass to get to.
Disney and McDonald's, which was objectively very nice of them. So that a billionaire wouldn't snatch it up, which was $8 million. They got some help from corporations like Disney and McDonald's,
Okay.
which was objectively very nice of them. So that a billionaire wouldn't snatch it up and hide it away in some fucking bunker for the rest of eternity. Since
Good.
then, scientists have gotten their hands all over it, and Sue has been a treasure trove of information on the lives of Tyrannosaurus rex, especially in their later years. Based on the growth patterns of their bones, Sue lived to be about 28 years old, and their skeleton is full of damages caused by a lifetime of injuries and diseases, broken ribs, gout, etc. It's pretty insane to
but
think
gout
about the
means
fact
she
that
was
we can
eating
see
good
evidence
for a
of these
while,
injuries
though.
in bones that have been resting in the rock for millions and millions of years. There's a chance that resting for that long sounds pretty good to you right now. Lucky for you, I have the perfect solution. Helix Sleep, a premium mattress company that delivers customized mattresses right
I
to
need
your
to
door.
flip my
And
mattress.
just so happens to be the sponsor of today's video. You might remember last year, Helix was down to help me get my sister Presley a new mattress as a graduation present. And now I want to get one because that mattress is insanely comfortable. It feels like it has a mattress pad, but it doesn't. That's how soft it is. And to make sure that it works for me long term, all I have to do is fill out their quick and easy sleep quiz that matches you to the perfect mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences. It takes less than a minute to get your perfect sleep platform. And what do you know? I was matched with the same Helix Midnight model. I'm very excited to set it up. I'm gonna set it up in my office as a daybed for when I have guests over, and they're probably gonna keep coming back. And the best part is that it'll be super easy. Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the
So
US.
you're
Comes
gonna
rolled up in a
you
box, making it
created
super
a
easy to set
mattress
up,
that
unbox
fits
it, unroll
your
it, let it expand. Done.
specifications,
Lickety split. If you're
that
not
you're
sure you're
giving
gonna
it to
love it,
guests?
Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial. You get to test it out for 100 nights. Make sure it's perfect for you. Plus, their mattresses come with a 10-year warranty, so you know you're getting quality. They also offer financing options and flexible payment plans. And they have an exclusive discount for you, i.e. a viewer of this channel. Until March 31st, you can get 25% off your mattress purchase.
We don't get that anymore.
Just go to helixsleep.com/LindsayNicole or click on the link in the description.
When I'm filming
Thank you, Helix, for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the bones. About 7 years later, after the Field Museum in Chicago got their hands on Sue, another museum got their hands on another sick fossil from the Hell Creek Formation. This time, the Dragon King. You might think this must describe yet another T-Rex, or something similar, but no. This one's a pachycephalosaur. Those are the ones with the big dome heads, dome-headed dinosaurs, two-legged herbivores, thick domes of bone on their heads surrounded by bumps and spikes and shit. Probably good for smashing each other, smashing against each other, and also to look sick as fuck. This one was found in 2003. Another team of diggers at a Hell Creek site in South Dakota found the skull of what seemed to be a pachycephalosaur with an unusually flat dome. Actually, just not a dome. Just a flat head, which was very strange. Thankfully, the government didn't have to get involved this time. The skull was donated to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, where guests could watch scientists working on it. Inspired by comments of the museum visitors, scientists named it Dracorex, which translates to the Dragon King. After a shit ton of research, it turns out Dragon King is actually a dragon baby. When paleontologists examined the growth patterns in the bones, they realized Dracorex wasn't fully grown. When they compared it to other Hell Creek pachycephalosaurs, they noticed Dracorex has the same features as young Pachycephalosaurus. Dracorex wasn't a new species, just a young Pachycephalosaurus. That flat head is what the babies looked like before they developed the dome as adults, which means Dracorex is unfortunately not a valid name, since it's the same species as another dinosaur. We can still that sucks.
Call him that, though.
But it also means we learn something equally sick about dinosaur growth patterns. And maybe Dracorex can be inspiration for what you name your next pet. Maybe a chihuahua, or a large fluffy cat, or a hamster. A hamster named Dracorex the Pachysaur. That's sick as fuck. I feel like it could be a cool name for a person, too. But I'm like halfway about it. I feel like it would be cool, but maybe that's because I'm a fucking freak. I'm a total weirdo. I don't know. You gotta be the right person. Maybe I don't like it anymore. Anyway, Sue and Dracorex are both amazing finds, but they're each just one dinosaur. I'd argue the most incredible Hell Creek Formation discovery is a pair, the dueling dinosaurs. These dinosaurs were discovered on a ranch in Montana in 2006 by a team led by a fossil hunter named Clayton Phipps. They first found the bones of a Triceratops, which eventually turned out to be a whole skeleton. Before they finished excavating that skeleton, they found the bones of a Tyrannosaur tangled up with it, which also turned out to be a whole other skeleton. Both dinosaurs are more than 20 feet long, and they seem to have died side by side buried in a riverbed, locked in mortal combat. This led to the nickname Dueling Dinosaurs. It's unbelievably preserved and will eventually provide a ton of information on both species and how and why exactly they died together like that. Keyword eventually. Just like Sue, the Dueling Dinosaurs were locked up in court battles for years. This time, rather than 7, 14 years locked up. For a while, Phipps and the ranch owners tried to find a museum to buy the fossils, but couldn't. Then things got even more complicated with another ownership dispute. The land where the fossils were found has multiple owners. Some own the surface rights, others own the mineral rights, which are different. Surface rights are rights of things found on the surface, on top of the land. Mineral rights are for everything found below it, in the ground. The Montana courts argued back and forth for years about how these laws apply to fossils and who actually owns the dueling dinosaurs. By 2020, the ownership dispute was settled. Enough that the fossils could be purchased by a nonprofit organization called Friends of the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, who donated them to the museum's collection. Now they're at the museum where visitors can see them and paleontologists can finally investigate. There's a lot to be learned from this specimen. Not only is the behavior of these dinosaurs interesting, but the sediment also preserves partial skin impressions and the bones contain signs of injury. Just like with Sue and Dracorex. This is going to be another Hell Creek Formation discovery that will change how we understand dinosaurs. And this might sound very familiar to you, because I've talked about this fossil before in my coolest fossil discoveries and one I'm pissed about. This is one that I liked. It wasn't the one I was pissed about. After I put out that video, I actually got a message from Clayton's sons. Clayton's the fossil hunter who found the dueling dinosaurs. They liked the video and they invited me to go out to Montana.
That's so cool!
With them. And you bet your ass I went. I went over the summer, spent a few days out there, went fossil hunting with them for 2 days, and came back with a ton of cool shit. And that was my first time fossil hunting ever. And it was so cool. And I actually brought Gian out there. Gian was visiting the US from Argentina, and we went to Montana and we went fossil hunting. He shot a gun for the first time.
It's a big ass gun.
Yeah, you want to stand over there?
America, and we had a great time. So we also filmed it, and I'm gonna show you what it looked like going on another little field trip. So enjoy.
Oh, this is gonna be cool. It's beautiful. Like, cinematography is very good until that part.
Is it filming?
It's filming.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Nicole, And this is Field Trips with Lindsay Nicole. Today we're in Hell Creek, Montana with the Dinosaur Cowboy and Hell Creek Hooligans. Here he comes right now.
I'm Clayton Phipps, and some folks call me the Dinosaur Cowboy. I've been recovering fossils from the Hell Creek Formation for about 25 years.
Dang.
Clayton had us staying in what he called the man camp, situated on the edge of his property that's about 50 minutes from town.
The cinematography in this is very good.
And an hour and a half from the dig site. This gave us plenty of time to learn more about Clayton and how he got involved in finding fossils.
I was working on a ranch as a cowboy, and a guy came by the ranch and asked the landowner if he could go look for fossils. And I thought, what's this crazy guy doing? You know, this is whatever. And so he got permission, and he spent the weekend out there camping and hiking and looking for fossils. And when he came back, he had a piece of Triceratops frill, which is a shield on a Triceratops. And I said, well, what are you going to do with that? And he said, well, I'm going to sell it. And it was right after the movie Jurassic Park came out. So the dinosaur craze was high, and people were excited about dinosaurs, and the market was good. And I thought, $500, I'm making like $900 a month working as a cowboy, and you went out for a weekend and made $500. I bet I could do that.
Yeah,
so
if I'm
I
here.
just started looking and trying to learn everything I could about it. Started hiking around, and I started picking up chunkosaur everywhere. Just chunks of dinosaur bone that weathered out, and it was just fragments now. And pretty quick, my pockets were all full of these chunkosaurs. So I go back to the pickup, and I dump my staples out. I had a little staple bucket. Walk around. Pretty quick, my staple bucket's full of chunkosaur. So I go back to the pickup, and I find this gunny sack, which a feed bag for cattle feed, behind the seat. So I grab that. Pretty quick, it's like half full of chunkosaur, and I'm like, son of a gun, I got to learn something about this.
Yeah, a little
bit. I caught a bug I just can't get rid of, and that's all
that's
I
so
want to do
cool.
now. Go look for dinosaurs.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so rewarding. Just, all that work and then coming across something.
It's the thrill of discovery. You can't.
That would be
replace
so
it.
cool.
Yeah.
That's why I
You
want to
can't
find a
believe it.
fossil. That's why I haven't bought any fossils. Because I want to find it. I feel like it is much cooler to find one than, because I know so many people who found them. So I want to find one, not buy one. Cows.
Once we
The
got there,
rule
we
that if you
finally
see
met up
cows
with
when
his
you're
son,
traveling, you
Daniel
have
Luke,
to say cows.
also known as the Hell Creek Hooligans.
So there can be fossils from here, basically clear down to the bedrock, which that's the definite bottom right there.
Okay.
That clay base, the hard base. So we don't go into that at all, but we do go through most of the sand. If there's pebbles in it. If it's a solid sand, not much stuff got trapped in that, so I usually don't spend a lot of time going through the solid sand. Right there, you can see pebbles, little clay balls, pebbles, and you can see it turns to solid sand about right there. And then, this is pretty much solid sand, so I don't spend a lot of time going through the solid sand.
That's
so, there you
cool
go.
though, that you know what
Good
to
luck.
look for, where to
Thank
look
you.
for it.
What's it like, Lindsay?
It feels like my technique is atrocious. Such a rock.
I'm gonna be honest, it was a lot harder to figure out what's bone and what's clay than I was expecting.
It's like slightly harder.
Clay ball.
It's a clay.
Yep.
The clay balls looked like bone, seemed like bone, just turned out to be bamboozlers about 90% of the time.
Bamboozlers a
I was
bone.
hoping to find you one so you could kind of see what to look for when you see one.
That would be crazy if you found a fossil while giving me a tutorial.
Oh, give me a few minutes. This size, it's entirely possible.
Give me 2 minutes.
Clayton, what about this? Is this just giant clay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You can just tell by looking.
This is our reference. This is a piece of a... You said you think this is a piece of a spinal cord? Or not spinal cord, a vertebrae? Yeah, a process off of a vertebrae. So this is what we're using as reference to figure out what's bone and what's not. This is not bone. Clay. This is clay. I fear this is a no-bone zone. It's hard enough to find bones when you know where to look. So how the fuck do you know where to look in the first place? It's all clay.
So sad.
There's no roadmap to finding a dinosaur. You just have to have eyes on the ground. Mostly we hike, and if we find a little fragment, we try to find the source of that fragment. We don't just randomly start an excavation without some indication there's a fossil or something to go after. There has to be something sticking out on the surface for us to start an excavation. With any luck, you can follow what we call the bone trail up. We'll hike around the base of these buttes and up these draws, and we'll find a chunk. and we'll see if there's another chunk, and that other chunk might lead us to another chunk, and if we're lucky, it'll lead us to the chunk where that started
It's like
eroding out and
exhausting,
coming
but I
apart
still want to do it at
as
least
Mother
once.
Nature started to rot it out of the ground and erode it. So Nathan, I don't know, I guess I haven't heard his story, I know I found it, but he was likely hiking down there, found these bone chips and followed it up to this source. And when this, when the bones stop, it's got to be, you got to be close to that layer, because if it's not coming from any farther above you. So sometimes you can't find that source, and you just have to walk away because there's just no source showing. If there's pieces way down
too
there
far
and you
down
can't
or
find
something,
any
maybe.
source, it's hard to start digging. It's rare to find a complete bone, anywhere in the Hell Creek Formation. And you only usually find them if you're digging. By the time they reach the surface, they're already starting to erode and fracture up. And so when you're hiking and prospecting looking for sites, you almost never find a complete bone just laying there ready to pick up. It's pretty rare. They can
that's
last
cool.
on the surface a while, but you want to collect them. There's a short window of time to get it before it's just gone. Mother Nature is our best friend and our worst enemy. It exposes them so we can find them, but it also destroys them if you don't collect them.
Totally.
So
Okay.
the reason this one is more exciting
fascinating
than
to
others.
me. I'm
so-
sorry. I know I'm not lying. I'm just like, I'm just so excited. Just like everything about this is fascinating. And I'm like, I wish I was there. I want to be there. So like, that's so cool. Damn, I've always wanted to go fossil hunting. And like, I mean, I've been on like hikes and stuff where I knew friends had found fossils before, and like I would look around and I never saw anything or found anything. But dang, I feel like I've just been sitting here silently for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh no, right, I need to be saying something. This guy seems pretty chill.
There's this little piece right here. See how honeycomb that is?
Yeah.
That is theropod bone. Theropods are way rarer than a herbivore.
And I love that he caught this bug and he started to like learn about dinosaurs. He was like, you know what? Okay, I can make some money from this. But then he just like started like learning everything he could about dinosaurs. That's so cool. He can tell the bone what it kind of is just by looking at it.
Predator-prey ratio. So that honeycomb pattern tells us that it's a meat-eating dinosaur. There's one bone here, and if I remember right, there was a couple more pieces around that gives us hope that there might be something more in the hill. This is how you find a dinosaur site. There's not much there yet. Most people walking by would just see rocks, but if you look close, there's definitely some honeycomb bone marrow.
Yeah.
You can see it's not a rock. Oh, there's that. You want to try that licking stick test today?
I
lick a
don't know
stick?
if I trust you.
I don't blame you.
Yesterday.
Lizzie, what just happened?
Don't worry, it doesn't
I just
stink. or taste bad.
licked fossilized shit.
Why'd you do that?
He told me to.
I wish we'd have got that on film. So there's a lick and stick test we do, and it actually works. If you're out hiking and you find a fossil, you can put it to your tongue and it will stick to your tongue. So I talked her into the lick and stick test. You better try it on this one.
I
Well,
was
it
very eager to do it.
turns out it's a coprolite. I kind of pulled a bad prank on her. So.
Fossilized shit. How can you tell though? Because it's irregular?
Yeah, just the texture and the shape, obviously. It's a little turd.
It does look like a little turdy.
It's a cool fossil.
Yeah, it's a cool fossil.
But it's so old. It's fine. It's fine. It's basically a rock. You're good.
Stick your tongue to that. No, it's not a turd this time.
Whoa!
See that?
Oh, that was cool.
I saw your tongue kind of like come.
Yeah, it
I mean,
yoink.
it's like glue on your tongue,
Yeah.
just instant. So that's a good way to test if it's a bone or a rock or a
I
turd.
didn't.
Or a turd. I'm not gonna put my my jawbone in my mouth.
And how'd you decide this spot?
So I'd walk by this point probably at least 20 times in the last 20 years.
I
And
love his
I'd pick up a little
outfits.
fragment of fossil, here and there on it, but never enough to indicate that there was a good pocket here. And so I just decided a year and a half ago, well, I'm gonna open that site up and see if there's more in there. And wow, I'd been digging here 20 years ago and any indication that this pocket was as good as it was gonna be. It's the best one I've done in 25 years. We could
Wow.
possibly describe a new species from this spot. I can't guarantee that, but there's chances are good because we have hundreds of bones from this site now.
Wow.
Based on the shape of this bone, I can tell that it's a femur. So it's the bone right here, your thigh bone. And based on this trochanter being in the center of this bone, I can tell that it's a plant eater. There's basically three options
That's
in the
so
Hell Creek
cool that he
Formation for a
learned this
dinosaur
shit.
this size of known species: a Tyrannosaurus rex, a hadrosaur, or possibly a Triceratops. Based on the size and the shape of this one, the robustness of it, I'm going to say it's Triceratops. And because this trochanter's in the center, I know that it's not a meat eater. The meat eater trochanter would be up towards the head of the femur. And so that's an easy way in the field to make an identification on these things.
So you can figure out how big this specimen was just based on the femur, right?
Yeah,
It's really
tracks.
close, yeah. It's definitely an adult Triceratops. I've probably seen a little bit bigger ones, but this one's got to be almost 4 feet long, which tells me that it is a full-grown Triceratops.
4
We
foot
kept
long
digging
femur.
throughout the day, and eventually we found some pretty cool stuff.
What is that?
Triceratops.
Triceratops tooth.
It's just a clay ball.
She's learning. She's learning.
That was a large turtle. That's a big carapace.
Turtle shell fossil. Cool.
I think I found something.
Cool. What'd you get?
Is that something?
Yes, I would say it's a turtle bone.
Ooh.
Gently set it on there and I'll add a little glue to it right quick.
Why? Why do you have the glue to it? Why do you have the glue to it?
Oh, whoa. Do you think, you said that's T-Rex, you think?
100%. Yep. So that's a shed tooth. They shed them continually like sharks. This is one that just broke off as the animal was feeding. Got tumbled down the river and Luke's the lucky one that found it.
And then just glue it down so it's solid for the ride home.
Oh,
That's
okay.
probably a $3,000 to $5,000 tooth, depending on who I can get to buy it or who wants it.
Dang.
Actually, might be some of them. Yeah, it's false yeah, it's a tough one. You can see a brush just it's going away as we speak. In the end, was it worth the $30 worth of glue we dumped into it? Not counting the thousands of hours of your time to clean it. Until we're sure it's not a skull. Because obviously, thousands of hours are worth it if it's a skull.
Right. It's a rock.
Clay balls don't make any noise.
Yeah.
One more test. So that is a fossil.
Lick
I'll just
it.
let you, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's definitely something.
Oh, you got, yeah, that's totally, yeah, it's probably a fossil pin. So soft tissue.
And this too? It's the same?
Yeah, actually, I think it is.
She found like parts of
Yeah.
a turtle.
Oh, I think it actually goes on there.
Oh. Look at that. Cool.
That's cool. Lunchable.
Lunch.
I've always wanted to. I feel like I think I've eaten a Lunchable one time, like ever, because my mom never bought them. So I think I had a vending machine Lunchable once.
Is this something?
Yeah. Yeah, nice job. You know what this is?
What is it?
It's a tooth socket row on a hadrosaur, so it's a hadrosaur jaw. It's just
Oh!
of it, but dinosaur jaw. Congratulations.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Hadrosaur jaw.
And
That's really
Daniel made
cool.
finds that I couldn't even have imagined finding when we were there.
Yeah, buddy.
A tooth belonging to none other than a tyrannosaur.
Looks pretty good.
Oh, dang. Wow, what's this? What's this? What's this?
That's probably the biggest one we found this summer.
That is actually pretty dang crazy.
It's a large Rex tooth. Oh, I hope the other side's there. Sometimes they're heartbreakers and they're just split. This one appears to be good, but we're not done yet. That straight edge is making me nervous till you get it uncovered. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah.
Oh man,
Fang
that's
City.
a nice tooth. Holy.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
you guys got to see something awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Stop and glue it before it does crack. You see them cracks in it? If you move that tooth or if you bump that tooth, it's liable to just shatter. I take that
Okay.
Charbon and I literally
So that's
dump
why
it
with
in
the
there
glue
until
on
it
it.
just pulls back out. And then when you pull that out, yeah, it's going to take a little while to prep that tooth. No matter how many hours you put into that tooth, it's going to be worth every second you put on it.
Oh, it's so big.
That's
Nicely
a good
done.
tooth. Thank you. Holy smokes.
Congratulations, that's a killer.
Wow.
Tooth like that worth.
Oh shoot, if the other side's like that, it looks to me like the serrations are virtually perfect on this side. The enamel's perfect. It's a 4-incher. Going right now, 40 is not out of the question. 40,000. Yeah.
Whoa.
He just had a pretty good day. Yeah. We don't have all the money in the world just to sit here and dig, so this is the way we can raise money and fund this
That's
dig.
amazing.
Either if that tooth is-
I never thought it would be that crazy.
Feeling pretty good about it. It's there. Sweet. That is a gorgeous tooth.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Pretty easy to grasp extracting and transporting a small fossil like the T-Rex tooth. But what about ones that require heavy machinery?
That was
the
cool.
notosaur. It's just a mangled bunch of bones in there. It's manageable, but it's very soft fossil. So in the field, I couldn't really expose it enough to even get a good idea on what all bones are there. You know, we didn't want to leave it out in the hills for rain, hail, windstorms, whatever. So we got it protected. We'll take it back to the lab, we'll open it up, and then we'll really be able to dive in there and see what we do have. I'm hoping there's a skull in there. We did find one rooted tooth. The tooth matches Denverosaurus, a known dinosaur. With that rooted tooth, it gives me hope that there's at least a jaw in there that tooth come out of. The skull shouldn't be, in theory, very far from here.
Yeah.
But that tooth's still there. So who knows? It'll be fun to see what is in that jacket when we get home with it.
That's fun. Oh my god. I knew that it was like really time consuming. I knew like paleontology, archaeology. I know I've always known it's really time consuming and like you have to be really careful and methodical, which is another reason I like didn't do it, because careful and methodical are not words that anyone has ever described me as. I know that must be shocking to you. But yeah, no one has ever described me as careful or methodical or patient. I've gotten impatient. I've gotten reckless. I've gotten impulsive. So yeah, basically the opposite of everything that you'd need to be an archaeologist. So it's a good thing I didn't do it, but I think it would be so cool to do it just one day or a weekend, you know? Plaster of Paris.
Alright, what are we aiming for?
Just kind of right here.
That'll chip off. That's not gonna stay. I remember doing art projects like this. This was fun.
So obviously digging for fossils in the middle of nowhere in Montana means there's not really paved roads for our rental car. So, to get back to the lab, we had a bit of unexpected off-road.
Fun. I bet the rental company loves that. Oh, it's a Kia. It's fine.
Another hang tight moment.
This car's not necessarily built for that.
When you take a fossil out of the ground, obviously it's covered in ground. This is where the second phase of the fossil work begins, prep work.
The only reason I'm going to open it up is so it can dry out, the fossil can dry out. I'm just going to cut it down just a little bit and I'll show you guys how we do that. Our glue doesn't work very well and the fossils are stronger once they're dry, so it's better to prep them, wait till they dry out.
Dang.
Welcome to the lab.
Yay, lab! That's cool.
Gotta wipe the dust off them, get dirt out of the little cracks, and occasionally put pieces of bone back together that got broken while being excavated. Top prio of today was the T-Rex tooth. While Daniel started working on that, Clayton gave us a tour of the unimaginable amount of fossils they have in their lab.
The amount
Some
of
that are
work
finished
these guys have
products
put
and
into
others
this.
that are still in the works. This is where Clayton and the Hooligans end up spending most of their time in the winter, since
That
it's
makes
too
sense.
cold and the weather is too rough to excavate. Having the opportunity to go out to Montana for my first dig was unbelievable. And the fact that
Wow.
Clayton was willing to give us a look into his world was more than I could have ever imagined happening from me making a video about one of his greatest discoveries. He and the Hooligans were so gracious and patient with our group who had zero experience, and I'm so thankful for that. This trip was incredible, and I
Such
hope I
cool
can go back
stuff!
and spend a longer amount of time with them in the future. Thank you so much to Clayton, Daniel, and Luke for having us out there.
I want to
And
know
I
what
hope
was
you
in the
enjoyed this
plaster
little
of
fossil
Paris
hunting
thing.
field trip. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe
What was in the plaster?
so you don't miss the next video coming out on animals that are metal as fuck. Keep up with behind the scenes updates in our Discord server
I need to
on
know.
Patreon. And for now, stay curious. The world has a lot for us to learn. See ya!
Bye. Okay, I do need to know though what was in the. Oh, why am I pushing that away? I do need to know though what was in the thing. What was in it? What was in it? Tell me. What was in the thing? I want to know. I'm commenting. What was in the big plaster of Paris mold? Was it a skull? Do you know? I need to know. So anyway, I'm commenting that because I want to know. Oh, that was such a cool video. Oh my God. I know that there wasn't a lot for me in that because I was so freaking fascinated. Oh, that was so cool. Okay. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for suggesting it. And I will see you all in the next one.